My name's Nick. I've been a police officer in the past. I was a police officer for about 5 years. I also spent 8 years in the military, in the Army. So I moved out here only recently, a couple years ago. I was a cop on the East Coast, and I moved out here. I started up as a SSO at this school location where I've done, your normal, as you would expect, security, safety things, but I also help out with day-to-day activities, basically anything to help the school run smoothly on their day-to-day activities, which may include, helping out teachers, putting signs out, cleaning up after some events, helping their classes stay on in line, little mundane things that help the day go smoother. Since I started at the school, when I first started, it was almost immediately that the staff here, the parents, the students, all made me feel extremely welcomed and extremely accepted. I was immediately great collaboration with the staff here. They helped me get to know the campus, get to know the parents that are here, get to know the other staff members, and all in all, the collaboration has been wonderful. I was always available. I'm always visible. They talk to me about daily stuff. I talk to them about daily stuff. Bonding over the students that are here, the issues that are going on campus, or the non-issues that are going on campus. And through that, of course, got a good rapport with the staff here. And I feel like they can approach me with anything, and I can approach them with any issues that are going on. Yeah, so the parents, just like any parents in any school, public, private, whatever it may be, there's always safety concerns about their kids going to a school. So they see me. I try to remain as visible as possible. They see me. That's step one. They know I'm visible. I'm out there. I've talked to many parents that have asked me questions about my background and all that stuff, and normally comes up is that I was a former law enforcement officer and military, and I use that to do my job today. The parents have been more than understanding and cooperative. That majority of the times, if I tell them anything, such as, oh, you've got to sign in, or hey, you got to go, we can't have you here at this time, you can only come back during lunch or something like that. That is all out of a safety standpoint, and they've been more than understanding and cooperative that it's just me trying to keep the campus as safe as I possibly can, and it's nothing personal. And we've built a good relationship with a lot of parents. So discretion is very important. I'm a school security officer. I am here for their safety, for the kids' safety, kids, staff, everybody on campus safety. So, for example, when it comes to discretion, dealing with an issue, let's say a person on campus that shouldn't be on campus, normally approaching them and telling them that, hey, what this campus is, we got a school here with a bunch of kids, we can't have strangers hanging around. Majority of the time, I explain that in a polite way. Everybody gets it, that there's kids here and their safety is paramount, and they go about their day. There's no need to be a aggression up front and be I'm trying to think of the words now. There's no need to be aggressive in your actions to get your point across. For school security and law enforcement, they're different in a few ways. One, I'm not a sworn law enforcement officer. I'm not obligated to do things that you're required to as a police officer. Some of those things, again, be like, for example, I'm dealing with somebody who's on campus that shouldn't be on campus. I can just tell them that, hey, you got to move along. We can't have you hanging out here. Meanwhile, as a police officer, I may have to ID that individual if there's stuff going on that I can see, drug paraphernalia, stuff like that. I would have to act on that because I'm a law enforcement officer. As a security officer, I can just get that person moving off the campus, away from the kids and away from the campus activities, and have them going about their day, another location. Well, one of the best things that I like here, this campus in particular, here, all the teachers, the kids, the staff here are very close, and they're very family oriented, and dealing with the parents and the kids and all that stuff, it's a pleasure every day. It's great to feel like you're welcomed and you're appreciated and you're included, which they make you feel that way every single day. The worst part is pretty much just, or say worse, it's really the hardest part, is dealing with a open campus and dealing with individuals that you may not know if they are allowed to be on campus or if they're supposed to be on campus, and approaching them and then finding out that they are supposed to be on campus, and sometimes people take that personally. And again, it is not personal. I'm just looking out for the kids' safety. So if I approach you in a way, just asking, hey, what are you doing here? Can I help you find something? Can I help you in a way? Some people take that the wrong way when it's just me being a casual encounter, and that has to be some of the harder parts of my job, is that approaching people who just don't understand what my job is and why I'm here can make it difficult. Well, some of the challenges is, one is getting to know the campus, getting to know the people and the staff and the parents and the kids. That's one of the challenges, because you have to get to know the campus, get to know what are the challenges on the campus, what are the problem areas on the campus, what are blind spots on the campus, for example, what are the high traffic areas, what are the low traffic areas, and then getting to know the teachers, getting to know, who they are, what they teach, what their roles are, getting to know the kids, as in, like, what are they, do they require anything special? Are they, do they need special supervision? Do they need any medications? Do they have any medical conditions that I should be aware of, like seizure disorders, diabetics, anything like that? And then getting to know the parents. The parents are one of the big things that makes their impression of the campus, the school, and its entire image, is how you act and how you talk to them. Well, cameras are the big ones, security cameras. I have access to cameras on that are all over the campus. That allows me to be inside at my computer and still have eyes on all the campus, the whole campus, and be able to see what's going on in the whole campus. And also personal technology, body cam that I have on my uniform. Pretty much record any interaction that I have with students or parents or people that I'm dealing with, strangers on campus, just to have that footage, that if there's questions about what was said, what we didn't say, or if anything was to happen that needed to be documented for law enforcement purposes, or just a general concern if a parent brings something up to the administration, that it's recorded and you can know for a fact what happened and what didn't happen. Yeah. A typical day is when I come in the morning, I walk the campus in its entirety, normally around the outside perimeter. First, I de-alarm some of the buildings that are on campus as well. But turn off the alarms in a couple of them, walk the exterior, walk the interior of the campus, make sure the obvious, we don't have anybody hanging around, nobody's sleeping, looking for discarded items, if there's any drug paraphernalia, weapons, or trash around that needs to be picked up because it poses a safety hazard to the kids, or even if it just looks trashy and stuff, to clean up the campus a little bit. After that, I help with arrival. Kids start arriving. I'm out at the crosswalk where there's a bunch of cars and traffic, and making sure the kids can get across the crosswalks safely. And then after that, we go, depending on the day, the schedule, all that stuff. But if they have PE outside, I'm normally in the general area with them. It's being outside, exposed to the neighborhood and people that are walking around or anything like that. That's why I try to maintain a visible presence when the kids are outside. So for one, the kids know I'm there, the teachers know I'm there, and any parents that are coming by or stopping by know I'm there. if they're inside, I like to still be around on campus. I walk around still, again, being a visible presence to the community. If I'm walking around and somebody's driving down the street, or someone who lives in the neighborhood down the street sees me outside, they know that this campus has security and is serious about their security. And potentially, maybe if they have kids, they'll be interested in sending them here. So when then day goes on, help out with the lunch waves. Again, making sure that the kids are safe at lunch, making sure that the campus is secure for the lunch waves. Recess, same deal, same stuff, being visible. Then dismissal at the end of the day, doing the same thing that I do with arrival, making sure that the kids are safe when they're outside, helping them cross the crosswalk, stopping traffic, making sure that the kids make it from where they need to go safely. An example being, so one of my things with discretion and not being a police officer, being security, is that when there's things that happen, you don't really necessarily need to escalate it. Given an example, in this modern era that we're living in, vape pens, for example. Sometimes there are ways for kids to get THC fluid for the vape pens. If I was a law enforcement officer and I was to find a student with a vape pen with THC, that's a drug, that's a crime. Here, it's administrative team to the parents and stuff without getting law enforcement involved, and it's a family parental administration issue without involving law enforcement. And to me, having your parents and school administrators deal with a small issue like that is a lot better than involving law enforcement or anybody higher up. Yes and no. Yes, because you have to have the mindset that you have to have a serious mindset at all times. You have to maintain that ground, is that what you're doing is keeping kids safe. And you have to maintain that mindset throughout the time that you're working. But to the extent that it was as a law enforcement, not so much. As law enforcement, you were more of a target for the community, involved in more violent things. Here, I'm not. Here, I'm just for the campus. Pretty much the law enforcement for the campus, if you would, and stuff, for lack of a better term. So, dealing with the people that I deal with here and dealing with people that you deal with on the streets are different, because I wear the uniform of a security officer and not a police officer. So they view you a little bit different. If you would, the community may be less resistive to a security officer approaching them and talking to them than a police officer approaching them and talking to them. One of the most common mistakes, and it's not even exclusive to SSO position, just in general, is being laxed or getting laxed. Working in a school, you're on a routine schedule, if you would. Every day or every week is relatively structured and scheduled. There's a time slot for everything. There's a time period for lunch, time period for recess, time period to go home, time period to arrive. It's very easy to get into a laxed state with a structured schedule like that. You never know when something's going to happen. You never know when somebody might wander onto campus that shouldn't be around, just because there's not kids outside at that current moment, or everybody's inside the school and nobody's outside at recess, nobody's outside at lunch. Just because everybody's inside the school doesn't mean you get to just relax, put your feet up, and chill out. People could still wander onto campus. Things could happen. Vehicles that aren't supposed to be on campus could come onto campus and park. And taking your mind away from something for even a moment could jeopardize your safety, the kids' safety, which is paramount, and safety of everybody on the campus. Getting laxed in any job field or any security field is a downfall of a lot of people, because you miss things that are important. When things happen, people get, in extreme cases, people get hurt or killed. because you weren't paying attention or doing your job as you're supposed to. Just be yourself, be kind, be understanding, and just explain, let them know what you're here for, what you're here to do, and just always be open and available to them. Tell them that you're approachable, make sure they know that you're there to help them and to help the school and help the kids feel safe. First day at the new school, it's tough not knowing anyone, not knowing, again, the kids, the teachers, the parents, the other staff members. So my advice is you introduce yourself to everybody. My first day with the school allowed me to be introduced to every class. So instead of introducing myself individually, the school, I was allowed to introduce myself to a lot of classes in its entirety, and they introduced who I was, what I was here for, and allowed me to introduce myself and talk to the kids. The teachers, again, introducing yourself, your name, what you're here for, and that's just step one and stuff, making sure that they know who you are and that you're not just some guy that's gonna stand off in the corner and watch them, and that's it. So law enforcement is a very critical role in working at a school. There is a lot of things that you can do without law enforcement involvement, but then there's also a lot of things that you can't do without law enforcement involvement. And there's also things that you shouldn't do without law enforcement involvement. There's stuff that law enforcement should get involved in and stuff that they shouldn't. Dealing with the law enforcement who come out here and only involving them in things that they need to be involved in gets you on the good side of the officers, because when they're coming out to where you're at, they know that, hey, we don't get called out here much. There's something going on that's not normal, or compared to, hey, this guy calls us 2-3 times a week. What's going on this time? And then getting to know the officers. A couple of the officers that I've gotten to know, I know that they're out here. This is the area, the school that they're in their area of for their day shift, and they know me. They know that I'm out here. They know my background. And I've asked them simple questions as well. What is your expectation of if there's a trespasser on property? What, from your law enforcement standpoint, how would you like me to approach that? And they will tell you how their department, because each department and jurisdiction may deal with something differently. It's like, hey, I have a trespasser that's not leaving the property, and I tell him to leave. He says no. Are you okay with me putting him in handcuffs because at that point he's trespassing, or would you rather me wait for you to arrive? That's a question that some jurisdictions may say, hey, go free, put that guy in handcuffs, we'll come get him, we'll come pick him up. Other jurisdictions may be like, hey, if he's not doing anything violent, just let him be and call us. And you get cooperation with law enforcement. It makes everyone's job easier. That, again, going back to what I was saying, being laxed is a big thing. Every day that I come in, you have to run scenarios through your head about things that could happen. Keep your mind fresh and keep you on your toes. These are people's kids that you're dealing with. And these are people's futures, all that stuff. You being laxed and letting something happen, it could be drastic. And I don't want to be the one to be working when something serious happens and passes through something that I would normally catch, but because I was laxed or I was distracted in some other manner on my phone, in some other world, dealing with some other issue in my personal life on my phone, and something happened that I'm the reason why an issue occurred. Also, dealing with issues on campus too there's a lot of timing when you're dealing with stuff. Does it need to be dealt with right now, or can it wait? Example being suspicious vehicle on property. It's parked in a parking spot pretty close to the school or a common area of the school, but you have kids outside. Let's say they're doing recess or something. Is it mindful for you to go up to that car at that second and say, hey, what are you doing here? Or can you wait 5 minutes, wait for the kids to get inside the building or away, going about their regular day, so now they're not in danger, and then you approach the vehicle and you ask, hey, what are you doing here? So that way, if there is a conflict, you are the only one whose safety is in jeopardy, not the kids that are outside as well.